One of my most anticipated games of 2018 is finally here today. It isn't a big AAA title, it isn't even a new game, but Shadow of the Colossus Remaster for the PlayStation 4 has had me counting down the days ever since its announcement last year. So, how does this remaster from Bluepoint Games stack up? Well, before I start, I would like to preface this review by saying that I grew up with the PlayStation 2 version. It was my magnum opus for my entire gaming spectrum at the time. My hype for this remaster has only grown over time, but I still went into this game with my mind as open as I possibly could, and I tried to focus on this game only, avoiding any comparisons unless they are needed. That being said, let's begin the review. You are an unnamed protagonist who is travelling to an ancient land to slay 16 beautiful and majestic colossi. This monumental task is set before you by a strange voice from above that explains if you manage to vanquish your many titanous foes, your beloved will be brought back to life. And that's pretty much it. Not much else is explained in the story at all. The rest is up to the player, to find out or invent it yourselves through your own imagination. This incredible strategy of creating a story and leaving most of it out is ingenious, and as you play through the 10 to 12 hour campaign, you will instead dive deep into a story of your own design, something many forms of entertainment wish they could accomplish. And in the interests of every player who have not played Shadow of the Colossus before, nothing else can be or indeed will be spoiled in this review at this point. So I will move on to the main aspect of the game. Since the story is already inside your heads waiting to be explored, the majority of what you will be doing is the gameplay. More specifically, 16 consecutive boss battles with these colossi, all of which have their own unique strategies and challenges. And this is why Shadow is one of the most beloved games of all time to me and many other generations of gamers. You are treated to a beautiful cinematic of your intended target every time you approach one, and you slay these mysterious creatures using your stamina to climb up around their bodies to find the weak points that you can plunge your sword into. This climbing mechanic is where the game really shines, and it immediately shows you what you've been missing out on in many other these monster slaying games. No longer will you have to constantly slash away at the toes of huge enemies until you eventually bring your prey down. In Shadow, you will have to climb all the way up these gigantic foes whilst clinging on for your dear life as they try to shake you off their heads and their legs and their arms and their wings for the colossi that unfortunately can fly. These weak points start fairly simply, but quickly can become very difficult to find and, unfortunately, even harder to reach. But this makes every battle extremely thought-provoking and also hugely rewarding once you figure out how to beat them. Once you have damaged the colossi enough to bring it down, another cinematic shows you these astonishing beasts coming hard down to the ground. You can't help but feel sorry for these creatures at many points throughout the game, because many of them do not engage you in combat until you strike the first blow, and the game had me wondering if I was truly doing the right thing many times. The graphics are next, and put simply, this game looks stunning. Beautiful vistas surround you constantly, from the distant mountains to the close and eerie forests, to the intimidating chasms that you must cross, and the ancient and picturesque monuments and structures that you must traverse. The colossi themselves look amazing and feel very much alive with their movement and their behaviour. I really struggle to find any fault with the graphic quality of this game. It's phenomenal, as you would expect for this generation of consoles. But graphics aren't everything. Games need music, and fortunately the music that plays lends just as much to the emotion of the game as anything else, probably even more so. It is this type of soundtrack that makes me appreciate how important good music is in any entertainment format. From the relaxing gentle sounds as you're traversing the open fields to your next target, to the pulse pounding excitement sounds that you are when you are in the heat of battle. It all blends so very well into the entire experience and takes this game to the very next level. Additionally, there are a few minor changes from the original versions of Shadow, such as the control scheme, which gives you the ability to dodge with one button rather than a combination of buttons, but this can be changed to Classic if you wish, but it's just a welcome addition for any of the modern players if they want it. Sometimes controlling your horse can be slightly awkward, but it never really caused me much hassle and it never harmed my experience at all. You also have the obligatory photo mode that this generation of consoles seems to love, but personally, I have never really used them very much, but I cannot think of a better game for this system. I use the photo mode a hell of a lot. Almost 3 or 4 pictures on every single one of my targets, and I am glad that I can now capture some of the more intense and indeed spectacular moments I experienced in this game and revisit them in my pictures. It's a new and it's a welcome addition to Shadow. Overall, I'm not sure how Bluepoint Games managed to do it. All they had to do was re-release Shadow and give it to me and I would have been happy. But they have perfected what was already perfect. This game is a 10 out of 10. It's the highest praise I can possibly give to a game. Bringing Shadow into this generation of consoles as a love letter to us dedicated fans and as an introduction to one of the best games of all time for newer players. A remaster that improves perfection and stands out above all others and shows them how it should be done. Absolutely fantastic, and a must buy for everybody, a bucket list game that I will be replaying for many years to come, and one that has rekindled my love for the 2005 PlayStation 2 version as well as this iteration all in one go. Thank you very much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this review, you can like and subscribe to my channel for more. If you wish to support me at the growth of my channel, I have a Patreon page that I can link below as well as other social media platforms that I use. Thank you very much for any help and support you give, and I will see you next time.